Guys, welcome back to Eight at the Table. Today we're going to
Any.
do a topic about low standards. So, guys, listen in. But before we get started, we just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for supporting us, liking, commenting, subscribing, YouTube membership. Please join. Like we have special episodes, unaired episodes for you guys. And we're on other platforms as well. Not just Instagram. We
YouTube
have
membership.
YouTube. I just said YouTube membership, man. Literally, I just said that. Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, like we're on everything. So please get tuned in to anything that you can. We have date box. Please support our merch, everything. And we're gonna keep making content for you guys. So Rico, we're talking about low standards today. And we need 8. We're gonna discuss 8 signs that you have low standards.
Wait. Before we get started, everybody's gonna ask, "Where's Aaron?"
Aw.
Aaron's in the A, I think.
Erin's traveling. My travel B. She is in the A right now.
Your travel what?
Travel B.
Travel B?
B. Yeah.
Oh.
Like she's a traveler.
So what's a B?
I actually just said that. I don't even know if that's a thing. I just gave her a nickname just now.
That's what, like she be lying. Amanda's a liar. She's a Gemini. Go ahead.
How does that make me a liar?
Because you're all liars.
Rico, stop
Wow. Like literally, you just be throwing. Do you get in trouble a lot?
I can't. I'm an Aquarius.
Oh my God.
We can't get in trouble if we are the trouble.
Anyways, Erin is very missed right now. Girl, I need the femininity here on the chair. On the
That's
couch.
unfortunate.
But yeah, she's traveling, so it's just me and Reeks today.
What? My name is Rico.
He's trying to give himself another name.
It's the same name.
And
It's
this-
pronounced differently. Thank you very much. Rico.
Okay, Rico.
Rico.
with the roll of the tongue.
Yeah, Rico. If you can't do it, it's Rico. Like Rico.
Not saying that.
I'm Italian. This is my Italian vibe. My Abu Dhabi, Dubai vibes.
Italian or
I'm all across the
Abu Dhabi?
globe.
Like, which one?
Both. They're like very. Their style is similar.
Are they?
Yeah, like their dressing style is similar. Yeah.
I would have never thought that.
You've never been.
I have never been, but I would have never thought that. You got to pick one.
All right, so A signs, your standards are too low. You don't get to be flown out. If your man ain't taking you on vacation, it's clearly that you have either he feels you're not deserving, or you have the wrong one. I think that it depends on what age bracket we're talking about. Like if you're a 20-year-old, I don't expect you to be able to cover 2 people.
I don't even think it depends on the age bracket. I think it depends on like where you guys are at, like your situation, whatever. I feel like being flown out is nice. I don't think that it means that your standards are low if that's not happening for you.
I mean, if you've been dating somebody for 12 months, 2 months, 2 years, and you've never been on a vacation, I feel like your standards are too low.
That's what you think in terms of a person's standard being low, like the ability to travel. It's not like a intrinsic.
No.
thing.
Traveling is essential for any type of human growth and mental growth. And if your partner is not at the point where he wants to or she wants to experience the world, I'm not saying, in moderation, because it's not, the most cheapest thing, but you can definitely say, hey, if you two are both from Mississippi, right? And you can catch a flight to Miami for, $150 each, $300 round trip, but your partner is not, open-minded or possessing the initiative to bring you outside of where you're from and expand your mind, then your standards are too low, because you should be with somebody who's going to help you think bigger. You should be with somebody who's going to help you think larger, who's going to help you experience life on a bigger level. Now, that's just my opinion, but obviously because I love to travel and I realized that I didn't know shit until I started traveling.
I think that's a great opinion to have. I just feel like not everyone has it like that. Maybe, maybe some people do feel like they want to give that to somebody. Sometimes they just don't have the means. Or maybe they're waiting till later in life to, some people like to have a whole travel year after marriage, like honeymoon phase that goes on like a fucking year. They're just traveling the world. Like some people like to do it that way. So I don't really necessarily, I do like what you said. I think it makes complete sense, but not all people have it.
But my thing is this: you do, right? Everybody has enough money to travel, and I'm not gonna switch the topic, right? Because we were talking about standards. But if I say like, all right, cool, I paid $80 for these shoes. All right, I can literally go on Skyscanner, type in wherever I'm from, and then type everywhere, and then type any date, and then it's gonna tell me where I can go. And there's a lot of places in and out the country you could go for very cheap. Some even ranging for $54 a flight. That's the lowest I've seen. It might be somewhere further in advance, which is probably better for you because then you can save up money to actually get a hotel or Airbnb. But if I go on Skyscanner right now, I promise you I could probably find a flight to Miami, North Carolina, or Atlanta for $50 somewhere in September or October. Guaranteed. Skyscanner. So if like you don't need to have a lot of money to experience life. And I think that's the thing people don't understand.
Well, what if we say someone who isn't willing to experience different things with you?
Your
Then that
standards
you
are
have
too
your
low.
right. But I'm saying instead of saying like someone who isn't willing to fly you out, like what if like changing it around, changing the verbiage and saying someone who isn't willing to experience new things with you?
Nah,
Whatever that means.
because I'm not trying to experience sushi. So I'm making this. I'm being very specific. You know what I'm saying? If your partner is not willing to travel with you or willing to make a way to travel with you and provide some type of growth for you, then your standards are too low, right? There's certain things that come with certain things, right? Like shopping in expensive stores come with the ability, more likely than not, to find a way to make enough money, right? Like, and whatever ability that is, shows a lot about their characteristics, whether they're hustlers, whether they're good investors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So traveling is essential. If you're not with somebody who, and I'm not saying be frivolous, by the way. I'm not saying I just meet you, I'm flying you out. No, I'm saying like dating, like an actual date, like
Oh, I
you've been with
know.
them for like a year or so.
So one of the things that are on our list are, I know we're talking, but one of the lists is that you're constantly bored. So would you say it's along the line that the person is not stimulating you, so you're constantly bored?
I think that being constantly bored is usually stems from you not knowing what you actually like. I don't think it has anything to do with your partner. It has to do everything with your choice. So I wouldn't blame that on them. I'd blame that on you. One of the things that I would say when your standards are too low, yes.
I feel like being constantly bored kind of ties more into what I was saying about not being able to experience new things with your partner.
Right.
But even if you don't put that on your partner and you try to learn things that you like on your own or experience new things on your own, it kind of sucks that you are not able to do that if you're with somebody. Like
That you can't share it with.
that you can't share it with somebody because I feel like if I'm like doing like self work, trying to figure out like what I like, or I'm like going to plays, and because I found that I like going to like theater stuff, or I like going to concerts, but that's not something I'm really sharing with my partner. What are you here for?
Right.
Like, why am I? These aren't activities that I should be doing by myself if I'm in a relationship. So I feel like being able to share new experience with your partner is a necessity.
Yeah, because you both
Or commonalities.
right. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're both stimulating each other.
Yeah.
I think another sign that your standard is too low is when you're not allowed to speak your truth in your relationship.
This is true. I agree with that.
If I can't tell you how I feel, if I can't tell you my perspectives or
You feel
beliefs,
silenced.
if I can't tell you how I feel, my perspective or beliefs, and you are combative or you're just not receptive,
Go a little bit more because I didn't think about that one. Like you're just silent, so you're
yeah.
repressing.
Yeah, so essentially, and that's what right. That's what happens when people get into these type of relationships where they're just taking all the punches, and they're not ever giving. I don't want to say punches, but punches within a relationship, and they're not able to give themselves, right? Or sometimes they're just kicking themselves instead of being, verbally or communication wise, silenced by their partner. If I can't speak my mind to you, if I can't speak my vision to you, which is why a lot of men that complain about leading get upset because they can't lead because when they do speak, it's combative. That's just one aspect. But if I can't speak my mind or speak my vision or, speak my perspectives to you without you listening or without you being combative, if I love you enough, I'll just tuck it and I'll just hide it. And then it's just going to build and build and build until it becomes, some type of explosion by me, whether it be big or small. And I think that's when you realize that your standards are too low because you've been putting that other person's perspectives over yours or desires or demands
Yeah.
over yours, which is just suppressing you.
I agree with that because that was definitely one of like my biggest communication lacks. Like I lacked that in relationships. Like I would not speak because I would always listen to the other person or like their voice always dominated mine. So I would always like be quiet or I wouldn't voice like my issues or whatever I had a problem with because I was so like trying to avoid like conflict or, arguments that I would just like be quiet because I don't want to get into anything. Or, if they're good and like I'll let them be good and I won't try to start anything. Um
But doesn't that make you resentful?
it
Yeah.
does. And it does build like Rico said, like it builds resentment. It builds like you have so much that you're just holding in that, it's gonna come off sometime and then you're gonna look like some crazy bitch down the line.
Because you snapped.
Amanda,
You
is it
unsnapped.
is it is it the fear of talking back? Because it sounds like if you don't even know how to talk back, your standards may be too low.
Oh, like you
Um,
fear?
Like let me
I
not
feel
talk
like it
back to this
has
girl because she gonna fucking start wilding.
that could be a reason. I feel like more specifically with me, I'm not great communicating my feelings. So like sometimes it just sounds like I'm talking in circles and I'm just like, I don't even really know if I'm getting my point across. So um
I'll be sitting here,
you're not close enough for me to pitch you.
Because I've come across that in couples therapy where one person feels like their voice has been, like silenced,
Mhm.
but often uh, is that the person never learned how to communicate. So when they communicate with their partner, sometimes they communicate in such an abrasive way that the partner is naturally combative. So then you don't get anywhere. So I'm just wondering if a lot of people's voices get silenced because they don't know how to actually communicate in a way where it's not going to lead to a fight.
Right.
yeah.
I feel like that's a very important point to point out. But also like once I did get past like not knowing how to communicate and I felt like I was doing it very effectively, I felt like everything, like my feelings were being invalidated. So it's like I would tell you how I would feel, and it the same combative like response would be like, I don't understand how you feel this way or this and that, and it's just like, well, I'm simply telling you point by point what my issues are, how I'm feeling, and I just feel like I'm being like my feelings are being invalidated, I'm being rejected here, and I'm just like, okay,
But
never mind,
sometimes your feelings
forget.
could be crazy.
I got one. I got one that I'm thinking about if your standards are low. In my opinion, if you're on somebody else's schedule all the time, like they don't even be on your schedule. It's almost like, yo, I want to see you when you get off of work. They're like, nah, I can't, but I can see you at 3 o'clock on my lunch break. You're always on somebody else's schedule.
Are y'all throwing
Yeah,
subs at
but
me?
it's like,
Tell me.
Subs.
yeah, because you be here late.
Paranoid?
Like,
What I say, if you feel like
who's
it's
trying to-
about you,
who's trying
it's
to talk-
probably about
Who's trying to
you.
talk to
Wait,
me
you
right
be on
now?
somebody else's schedule, Amanda?
I'm
Not
always
you.
on somebody else's schedule.
No, you're not, because you
Not
late. You on your
Amanda
own
On
schedule.
demand.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because if you was on the schedule, you'd be present on time, and actually on time is early.
I know. What I mean is like dating someone that I have to go around their schedule all of the time. So that kind of gives them the upper hand on when we do anything.
That's because you also don't see yourself being an initiator. So that's not their fault, it's your fault. Because if you want them to chase, you want them to hunt, then you have to be on their schedule. So they kind of go hand in hand. Now, I think to peel the layer back on that, what's a sign that you are what's it called?
on somebody's schedule?
No,
No, you have low standards.
Low
Your
standards?
your standards are low.
Your standards are low.
Is when somebody's inconsiderate of your schedule or inconsiderate of what you got going on. I think that's the difference, right? Because I could be scheduling things for us because I'm actually considering when you're free, right? So you're not really on my schedule, you're on our schedule. I'm just planning it. But when you're inconsiderate of our schedule and you can call me and tell me, the morning of the same day of our date that you're gonna reschedule, that's when my standards are too low if I'm allowing that to happen
If you permit
consistently.
that to happen.
Yeah. So that's why I think like to add context to that, like how I would feel that makes sense if my standards are too low.
Because low standards is almost like I don't know how many options I got. Now here's one that's very contradictory.
Facts.
This one is very contradictory. Even look from a producer standpoint, honestly, guys, audience, YouTube, you guys that are listening to this one is always one that I don't agree with, but I understand. When someone says when you mess with somebody else's person, you have low standards.
Oh, like a side chick or a mistress
Yeah, I don't. I'm
or side
very
dude.
conflicted, right? So if a dude is smashing a married woman or he's smashing this girl who has a boyfriend, or if a man got a couple of side girls, are those people's standards low, or are they eating from the crumbs, or are they just like, yo, I want more than one variety? Which one is it?
I mean,
Maybe it's the intention.
I was gonna say I was waiting for you to explain what was so contradictory about it. But your last option was like they want more than one variety. Doesn't make sense to me because you can pick any of the fish out of the fucking sea. You pick the fish that had a fish already. So that doesn't make any sense. There's no contradicting there. You have low standards.
That's not true. That's like saying if I was a store and I have a sneaker that you like, but I have the capacity to hold inventory on that sneaker, that just means that I can have more than one buyer for that specific shoe. So that man or woman, whoever it is, I don't I don't see it as an issue because, they might want more than one fish in the sea, right? So just because you are someone who likes somebody, who has somebody, that doesn't mean anything. I think what Marie said is the attention. Like there are home wreckers out there who just want to ruin a home. They want to prove it's like a sabotaging person because they want to prove that that love isn't the fairy tale that it's coked up to be, right? Or they just want to do something that's just destructive because of events that may have happened to their life and whatnot. So those people I think are, you know, wildly, wrong. But the person again, like, and I don't like getting into this because now we get into this poly. Because the only reason why you're outside with more than one
Literally
person
always
is because you
It
can.
Circles back.
It does circle back.
He always poly
because
this
I want to stay on the standard. I just got
poly the conversations.
I just got a text from Marie, right? In the text from Marie, I had text Marie. This is why I said to text Marie. I was like, "Yo, Marie, we on YouTube. Put the caption why your low standards are keeping you single." Marie texts me back. She says, "Alan, you're actually wrong. It's not low standards that are keeping people single. It's high
High
standards.
standards. Yep. Your high standards keep you single, of course.
How low? Yo, a savage woman and a savage man wants a person with low standards. 'Cause they can
Mm-mm.
do whatever they want. Look,
Can you expand? I don't.
so meaning like for example, if I was single and I was 21, way back when, right? And I was like, Shorty's like, yo, I'm like, yo, just go to, wait for me over there. She went at 6 o'clock. I got there at 2 in the morning. Is look, is that low
You're
standards?
gone.
Yes.
You're gone.
What? No, it's not.
I don't know if that's low.
That's not low standards.
I'm like,
See,
damn, I don't know if that's because I would wait till 2 in the morning if I wanted the person.
that bad, yeah. That's what's
Is
happening.
that low standards? Are we labeling things wrong.
No, yes, that's actually high standards.
But wait, Rico, you just said you're not valuing my time. So if you want to meet me at a
You gave
certain
that example.
time, right? Like,
Yeah.
come on, if you want to meet me at 6, and okay, 6:05, 6, okay, but don't have me waiting hours just because you know I want you.
But all right, it is a double standard. But I'll say, as a man, those are the women that usually win the ring. So it doesn't even like, as a man, if we're supposed to be doing all these things that society says we have to wait. I mean, we have to provide, we have to protect, we have to build this grand house, we have to take her on trips. You're only gonna do that with the women that you really, really know are down for you. And the only way, unfortunately, you to show that you're down is to go through the times that are unfortunate. I mean, we can name a bunch of different people who are, couple goals, and they had those moments. They had the moments of where the guy might have been stepping out. They had the moments where people were like, why is she even taking this? But she's the only one that got the ring. And usually the only people who are complaining are the ones that are single, right? Because,
Like they feel they're above it.
yeah, they
I'm
feel
above this.
their standards are too high.
Yeah.
Your standards are too high to sacrifice. Like,
Sometimes it needs to be because honestly, that
Mm-hmm.
sounds like a man looking for someone that they can control. Like, oh yeah, she waited. How much hours is that? 8 hours? Am I doing that math
let's just
correctly?
say 8. Let's just say 8.
Let's
That
say
you
10
waited
hours.
8 hours
2 days. 10
like
years.
for me to meet you, like no, because to a man that right there says, all right, she's down, like she'll do whatever.
Yeah, because
And
you
I'm
know what's
not
the
looking.
craziest thing?
I'm not looking for no man to be like she'll do whatever.
But who told
No.
you that?
But you want a man to be
Wait, Alan.
whatever. Go
Alan,
ahead, go
who
ahead.
told you that?
What do you mean? Who told me that?
Who told you that in the man's mind, we compute that as, yeah, she gonna do whatever.
just-
Speaking for a man.
Yeah,
Real
so who
life experience.
but who told you that?
Nobody
life
told me.
No,
that.
no, no, no,
Nobody
I'm
has
asking
to tell me
Amanda.
that.
Y'all speaking for
Nobody
men.
actually told you that.
Who's y'all? It's just me. So I don't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
a tag team.
No,
please.
but I'm saying, who told you that?
I said nobody told me that.
So this is the problem. We have people who run around with narratives that's been created and given from other people's trauma that now inflate your expectations
It's
on
nobody's
your
trauma.
relationship.
You literally just said, "Oh yeah, she's down. She waited all that time. She's down."
And he
No,
also
like-
said
no.
she has the ring.
She gets the ring. That's what I said.
Yeah, because she's somebody that is
Because what?
down to do whatever.
No.
Like
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. We don't look at it in the belittling sense that you're adding, that you're at the stigma.
condescending part.
Yeah, we don't look at it as a condescending. We actually look at it as a very eye-opening and deserving way. See, like when I know somebody is down for me, I'm going to give them the shirt off my back. When I know you're just here for what I could just do for you, I'm going to proceed with caution. So when whoever gave this narrative to the women, the young women, the old women that are sitting here saying, if you wait for a man, your standards are too low, it's crazy to me when it gets to a point where it's like you don't even have success in your own life in terms of getting the ring. If that is the goal. If that is the goal.
okay,
so
so let me
wait,
tell.
wait,
Let
wait,
me
wait,
let me
wait.
hold on, hold on.
Let Amanda speak.
Let me tell you something. Rico once said, if you had him wait 30 minutes on a date, you're done. You're disrespectful. You disrespected his time.
Mhm.
A woman is supposed to wait 8 hours for you to just meet her. Oh, she got the ring. That's dumb. That's stupid. That completely goes against what the fuck you just said about waiting 30 minutes for a date. It makes no sense. It literally means the opposite. How do you get somebody to, wear your ring because she waited 8 hours for you? That makes no sense.
Wait. So let me answer this because this is about what I said, right? 100%. But here's the difference. If the woman is the one that's going to pay for that bill, then I'm the one that's going to have to wait. So now when we talk about roles, okay? Now, if you want me to be the one that's expanding myself financially, which also means time because that's money didn't come out of thin air, then you have to respect my time a little bit more because I'm just giving at this point. So if you are inconsiderate of the giver, then I can only imagine how much more you're going to be inconsiderate of. Now, here's the thing. If we're going to talk about, being on an equal playing field, If she told me she's going to pay 50-50 of this bill, then I'm going to be more than willing to reconsider her rescheduling. But when I was speaking with that in the terms of the gender roles and the expectations that are on men. So again, if this woman is waiting for this man, but this man is somebody who is going to be the provider, then her standards are not too low. But if you're waiting on a man who's just going to treat you like a dog and just going to make you pay for everything for him and make you expand yourself to a point where you have nothing or you're, spread thin, then that is when it becomes a point in time where your standards are too low.
But I don't think that
Like
it
I
should
feel like
have
there's a
anything.
difference when
I
we're talking
understand
about
the difference that you're trying to
Of
make,
course
but
you
I
do.
feel like just in having to wait for anybody for that long shouldn't have anything to do with who's the provider, who's paying for
it
what.
does though.
But
It's
I have a quick question. Is there a fine line between finding someone that will ride for you, right? And abusiveness. So there's a flip side to a coin. You might be a man of integrity, you might be a person with good intentions, right? But you can't deny that there are a lot of people out there, men and women, without good intention. So there is a fine line. I know someone who says she's been waiting for someone for 17 years, and I can tell you he ain't coming, but she's still waiting. Do you see what I'm saying?
But her standards are too low though. Like
All right.
that's the line you're
Great,
talking
great.
about.
So
That's what I'm saying. So it's a fine line. So when you say that, right?
Yeah.
When you put a blanket statement where she waited 8 hours for me, that means I know she's down for me. In that mind of that woman, she doesn't realize her standards are too low. She's thinking she's riding for him and he's never coming. So I think you got to give both sides of the
Yeah,
coin.
but like if I gave
There
you the
is-
odds, here's the thing. If I gave you the odds, at the end of the day, nothing is black and white. So if I give you the odds, yeah, guess what? The odds are you are going to get a lot out of this man. Is there a chance you could be waiting 17 years and get nothing? Yes. But guess what? On the flip side, there's men that's been side friending and doing all this extra being there for a woman for 25 years and still don't get the cookie. So yeah, there are risks for every single decision that you make, but that's the investment that you chose.
Right. I just think it's important that we kind of paint a really big
Well,
picture
hold on.
I
rather
think
rather than a
there's
skewed
a very
vision.
thin line
YouTube,
between
check this out.
ride or die and boo boo the fool.
No. It's not about Boo Boo the Fool. You guys are missing something that Rico said on some. Pay attention to this, and I agree with this. It depends on your success rate. See, your success rate determines your outcome. If you are the person who will not wait 10 hours, but your success rate is at a 3 out of 100, maybe you should. In the words of Holiday the Golden Child, she said a lot of y'all bitches, maybe y'all should date a broke nigga. Maybe you need somebody to start something you could build with. Because the thing is, like, there's so much misrepresentation when it comes to dating. It's ridiculous. And then the women who have high standards and also entitlement, when they see that woman with everything, they're like, how that bitch get everything?
Yeah,
I should get it. And you know what the funny thing about it is? If you put that woman who says that in that position tomorrow morning, she couldn't be able to hold on to that man. Because her standards, like you said, Marie, may be too high. But there are low standards.
Yeah, but I think
Low
there's a
standards to me is
balance.
like
My whole thing is like
low standards to me is like
abusive part.
if like that's
That's
low
extreme.
No, we're not
Right.
talking about abuse.
No, I'm not talking about I'm talking about like you're essentially abusing your hold on this person at some point because you know like they want you, they want to be with you and you're aware of that. And so because you know that you have this hold on this
You want to
person.
hear something taboo? And
Go ahead.
because I want to hear from Amanda and I want to hear from Rico on this. You want to hear something taboo? There's people out here literally that said there's women that says I only look for a man with low self-esteem. I only look for a woman with low self-esteem.
But you
The
need
ugly dudes.
And no, let me give you the taboo on that.
Mhm.
The funny thing about it is, not Amanda, I'm not gonna put that on you, but let's say there was a woman, she only seek men with low self-esteem. Do you know what happened when that man raises her self-esteem? She loses him.
Mm-hmm.
But Unique Brooks, shout out to Unique Brooks, said that Unique Brooks.
Unique.
Shout out to Unique.
Unique says that there are times people seek out others with low self-esteem so that they can fix them.
If it's a whole nother syndrome. It's a whole nother syndrome, right? And I
I
agree
mean,
with
no,
you.
people like a fixer upper. And
No, no,
people also
not people, women. Like women like a fixer upper.
But don't men rescue some women?
Yeah, but we don't rescue them to fix them and up them. We rescue them because we know that they're usually the most untainted fish out of all the other fish that are around us in our environment. So if I'm a celebrity, right? You hear all the time like rap dudes don't date other rap women because a lot of rap women had to do a lot of things with other men to even get in the position that they're in, right? So what they do is they date like Chris Brown be dating these nobodies, right? And she just almost like, where'd you find them? Yeah, how'd you find them? He's like, oh, well, they was in the shallow end. They didn't get all the way over here. So,
going on
they
some
have,
specific Asian website, I'm sure.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and that actually makes, wow, Asian porn is #1 in California, searched up wise, right? He's probably on them sites. But, but again, like, and that's why I think that's the difference because a man will look for a woman that doesn't have anything when he's acquired everything, usually because men want to give what they have acquired. That's just the whole purpose of getting it. When a woman has it, and she wants to fix, first of all, when a woman really got it, she don't want to fix her upper. That most times, right? That's one thing. She, you know what I'm saying? But if she does find a fixer upper, come on now, she be dragging him through the mud,
Exactly. I feel
talking
like
crazy to him when he gets it.
exactly.
Like,
Sometimes I think it's about the control. That's what I was trying to say about the other situation. Like even a woman finding somebody who has low esteem, like what are you gonna do with that person? You're gonna feel above that person. Like that person isn't even really gonna give you what you need. So you're gonna walk all over them. Like it's about control in these situations.
I think there's crazy that there's people that have low standards with high expectations,
Mm.
right? And that's the problem that I have.
That's a conversation.
So when you have the low standards, so you want the ugly dude, but you want to have the high expectations of this ugly dude to be able to fulfill all the things that the dude that you really want, it's like blasphemy because it doesn't make sense. It's literally a contradictful way of being, and that's why they don't find success in these relationships.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You
Amanda
guys
agree.
agree.
Amanda
No.
agree.
Didn't say nothing.
No, yeah,
What I'm saying
because
is,
y'all
like, I
throwing
want to
something
go
at me.
back to I want to go to low self-esteem, and I think people misconstrued low self-esteem and low self-worth and low self-this, right? You automatically think, is this not attractive person? You think is this person that nobody wants. And the truth is that's not true.
I was thinking that when he
The
said ugly.
majority of people, let me tell you something, and you will see this with celebrities, like when they get older and they're giving their confession, they'll be like, I struggled with my looks, I struggled with this, I struggled with that. And you like, damn, man, you was like they voted you the most beautiful woman in the world.
Yeah.
And she's like, I never felt beautiful. I always thought I was ugly. And it's just like people automatically want to think like, the predators would be like, yeah, this one, she look like nah, she be the one that be like, nah, I'm good. And you go and you get this top 10 model who the world wants, and she's the one that's like, what do you want me to do? Wait for you 10 hours. So it's like it's not necessarily a physical thing, it's a action thing. So what we're trying to tell people is like, if you're dating someone who only want to see you after 11 p.m., do you have low standards?
That yes.
Like what are the variables
I'll
that
see you after 10.
Nah, that's
because
low
what, you
standard.
working
Text
a
me.
lot.
it's
I'm
not
a
that you're working 14-hour days.
Yo,
It don't
I'll
even
see you
matter.
after
You
10.
get no explanation.
And you got Uber
Yeah.
yourself over here.
Yeah, nah, that's low
You're
standard.
just being disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful. I don't got an Uber for you, yo. Uber
look,
yourself over here.
That
You
is
speak a
being
language
that is
that I
being
don't know.
disrespectful. Absolutely, that's being disrespectful. Because if you're telling me I'll see you after 10 without any explanation, I just got off of work, or I came from my family's house. You just saying I'll see you after 10
Every night.
every night. Yeah, come on. There's no explanation. First of all, that doesn't even sound like a relationship, but that just seems like I'm just coming over to fuck. That's actually just what it sounds like. And I don't got an Uber for you. Uber yourself over here. That statement in itself is disrespectful.
So let's go to
Not
what
coming
Rico was
nowhere.
saying, right? So let's push back. So if I'm telling you just come through, and one day you call me, you're like, oh my God, I got cramps. I'm like, what's the matter? No, I just got my period. Yeah, now don't come through tonight. Come through in like 4 more days. that means I don't want to see you, right? And then you're like, I'm
I mean,
confused.
obviously.
No, but now you start crying.
He must not run red
Now you
lights.
angry. You call your homegirl like, yo, this dude is a piece of shit. He's not shit. He's not shit. But the wording was you have low what's it called?
Low
Standards.
self-worth or low self-esteem?
No, not self-esteem. The
Standards.
part
Low
is
standards?
you have low standards with high expectations.
High
Yeah.
expectations?
You've been coming to my house after 10, 11 o'clock for 7 months.
There's
All of a
there's
sudden,
And
no
you think that you're gonna be?
No.
You think I love you?
Alan, you have low
know
standards
what?
and low expectations.
No, high expectations
No,
because
I
they're
know what you said.
unrealistic.
No.
They're unrealistic.
When you accept certain things, right? Now, if the person accepted these things because it worked for them, okay. But if this person is compromising what they really want, they have both low standard and low expectation. That means I don't see enough value in myself
Let's say low.
that I think I deserve to go on a date or be taken care of or be treated as his girl. So for me, I'm just a sex object for this person. I
But-
have both low expectation and standards. That's crazy.
And we got to be careful too, because like I feel like although I agree with what Marie is saying, the problem that I see is that people take something and they try to make it apply to their situation and then move as if they are the product of what you just said, which would be a sex object, right? And I think that like we have to really look at your entire we need to look at our entirety, the situation in its entirety, right? If a guy you've been talking to a guy or a girl for a couple months and they've been acting a little wild for a week or two, like that's not when you just start to jump out the window and be like, okay, I'm a sex object because 8 at the table said so, right? You need to look at everything that has transpired, not just the most recent thing. And I think that's what also happens too, right? We get caught up in what has transpired in the last week or two, and we think that that's going to shape our relationship because people have installed fear in us of like what we, have been accepting once now is going to be happening for a bunch of, time frame going forward. But realistically, not all the time it happens if they've demonstrated different behaviors. So, but what's another low self?
Well, this ties in with what we were just talking about, but compromising your needs. That was something that I saw online. That
Yeah, it's one of the signs that you're consistently compromising what you want, what you need, and just prioritizing the person wholly. That means then you don't even exist anymore. You're living wholly for another person.
yeah,
That's a bad thing.
Wholly?
of course it is.
No,
That's my
but
key.
but
My
you
kids.
yeah, but you have your own identity. You're still your own person,
And
right?
you still got to
Yeah, I don't
take
even
care of
want that.
yourself before you take care of anybody else. If you're not good, how you gonna take care of your kids?
Right. So
Yeah, I don't want to be nobody's world. I can't. It's too heavy. But what I will say is another thing of low standards, when you know you have low standards, is when you are the only one going to that person, right? If I got to come to you every time, you don't really want me that bad.
Mm.
And this goes on both sides, women and men. If I've been coming to your house for the last 2 weeks, find your way to my house for this week. You know what I'm saying? You need to have to be able to, it falls under compromising, but I'm just being more specific. You have to be able to show that you're willing to, pursue me as much as I'm pursuing you. You have to reciprocate. And if reciprocity is not, happening within this dynamic that we have, and I'm accepting it, that's when I should really do some reflection and self-reflecting and say, hey, guess what? I might have low, standards because I'm allowing somebody to not reciprocate all the energy or all the love that I'm actually pouring into this person, which I think is the biggest thing for
It
resentment.
is. Honestly, even in like simple communication, like why do I have to get up and tell you good morning every day? Like,
Yeah.
why am I not waking up to a single good morning text? Like, or
That's a
Maybe
fact.
you
though.
get
know,
it first.
or like even, come on, girl, no. And even like when we're talking, like, why am I asking you all the questions? You ever realize you
Doing all the work.
yeah,
Mhm.
like we're in simple conversation. What are you doing? How was your day? Or like, what are you doing later? And they don't ask you those questions back. They don't care.
Mm.
They don't care about what you're doing or what you got going on.
But they don't know how to express it.
They don't know how to talk. I've seen
That's
dudes
whack.
that
These are simple questions.
Yeah, that's pretty how was your day? Oh, my day was this,
How about
this,
you?
this.
Like,
How about you?
like that's so easy.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's not.
I don't know.
It's not.
I don't know if that's low
What?
standard. It's like, yo,
It's
I'm
low
not
people.
saying
No, she's not talking about that,
I'm
but
just saying that's an
consistently.
example of someone not, showing you.
An interest in you.
Yeah.
Or like interest in what you got going on or day.
Right.
Like when there was a big thing that was going viral, and it was like women don't ask men like, "What'd you eat today?" Right? Which basically shows just a lack of consideration
That's one of my
for
favorite
the working man's day. You said what?
I said that's one of my favorite questions.
You see what I'm saying? But like you probably learned that.
caretaker.
I'm about to say no. She learned that from the game. She like, you know what? I'm gonna
What
put the
game?
game into my pocket, and I'm about to win. I'm gonna win. Let me show him how I'm different. So, what'd you eat today?
Ah.
Oh, what? You really care? Like, you really care? Now he opens your door. Reciprocity.
But what if you're chilling with somebody, right? And it's just like everything is on you. And she's
Yeah.
just like, yo, look, I like you. Like, I legit. I always think the tone somebody talks with you is when you know you're lowering your standards. And I think that's what people don't know. See, the guy or the woman that made you wait 10, the guy or the woman that made you wait 10 hours, you know what the funny thing is? They're gonna be like, oh my bad, yo, you been here since yo, da, 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 da. Right? No, but just listen. Or she's gonna be like, yo, listen to the tone, right? But what I'm saying is like, don't you really realize when you lowering your standard is the tone somebody talks to you?
Oh, that's great. Because two of on our list is being disrespectful
It's
and
not even being disrespectful. It's almost like being dismissive. And I don't-
dismissed or
I have an
and
issue.
I don't say this in no sense of pride, right? I'm saying this like I know I could be like, go, I'm like go find something else to do.
isn't
right?
that a lack of respect for the person?
is a lack.
It's not a
it
lack
is.
of respect. It's almost like you're telling the person, at least from my perspective, you don't really gotta fuck with me. You got a lot of options if you go look for them. You're the only one who don't see all these options that you have. You understand what I'm saying?
So you don't
Someone
value the
even said
person.
anything
No, they actually
remotely close
overvalue.
to me just says, all right, you don't want to fuck with me. You're telling me go find the other fish and I'm gone. Like nobody don't gotta tell me nothing like that twice.
Your ego
And
is
one
through the
thing
roof.
one thing about me,
Yo, Amanda's ego is through the fucking roof, boy.
I don't know. If
I don't
that's a
really think that
ego
has
thing.
anything to do with ego, but like why I'm gonna let you tell me that and I'm gonna sit there and be like,
All I'm saying to you
no,
is
but
like,
I want
yo,
you. No. And
I
one
appreciate that you want me. I just be like, all right.
Well,
But then you don't value me when you move that
Exactly.
way.
Value you. I think like you a baddie. You got everything together. You gonna find
You're like-
somebody who wants
You're
you.
like, it's like you giving.
I actually value you more.
like, oh, it's cool that
'Cause-
you like me, but Sally cute too. Like, Sally is a good girl. Like, and Brenda. Like,
First of all, that happened to every guy, right? Because like I think that's an interesting conversation. In my opinion, a dude or a girl that's telling somebody, "Hey, you have more options than me," is really saying that I'm not the person that you want.
You could do
I'm
better than
yeah,
me.
and I'm okay with having you be happier without me. And that is not disrespect. If anything,
That said so differently.
no, but that's
Alan was so dismissive. Alan was like,
No,
you know,
No,
it's
he's-
not like I'm dismissive. It's just like I feel
Rico
like
reworded
I
it
feel like
completely
you're such
different.
a good woman. You need,
but I understood what he was
you
saying.
need
I
like
did.
you need somebody that's gonna commit to that
And I'm not.
life and that nonsense that you want, and I'm not. Right? It's not gonna work for me, but it doesn't degrade or devalue you.
Yeah.
So you are gonna do well. First of all, you got me or I got you. It could be a reverse man or woman, right? And I'm not speaking from me as from my perspective. I'm just saying if a woman told me, like, yo, now that you a good guy, because that's just disrespectful. Like, yo, you really that dude, but yo, why you fuck with me like that? And I'd be like, nah, because I really fuck with you, because I like you. Nah, but yo, all these girls be on your line, they be hitting you up, they be all over you. Why you fucking with me? I'd be like, nah, I like you. And she's like, nah, you could do better. She's trying to let me know she ain't shit.
yeah,
Or
the
she's
way-
trying to let me
I
know
was
she's
about
not
to
gonna
say,
give me
why
what
is
I
this
want.
conversation taking place? Because
right.
I'm not even letting you know that I know about any bitch hitting your line. Like, if you here with me, you here with me. What is this conversation about? Like, I don't know.
What
My head
happens
cannot
is, like,
fathom.
there are people.
I can't wait for a
there
man
are
to be
people who
30.
are honest and will help you not lower your standards.
Yeah,
They care about
exactly.
you as a person.
I think it's like phrasing is so important.
That's
I
so
just
true.
learned that because the way Alan is saying it and the way Rico is saying it is being digested two different ways. Like the way Rico is saying it is you can understand that look, you have good intentions for me, right? Like you could be like, you know, I want you to succeed. You have good intent. Alan, you sound like a scammer.
Well, we don't say. Well, I'm not gonna lie. Nobody's gonna say I want you to succeed. We're just gonna be like,
You know what I'm saying?
over here is like what you want doesn't exist here, and I think that you should give somebody else a shot. Like it
Scammer is
happens.
so hilarious.
It happens.
It's giving pimp vibes.
Well, you know they usually have a lot of other options.
No, but what I'm just saying is like it's not always negative. Like fellas, guys, or whoever's listening to this, fellas, just listen to what I'm trying to say. All I'm saying to you is like, don't make yourself playable. Don't let nobody play you. If you see a girl's giving you the run around, the text around, the this around, it's because you're doing one of one. If you could get her and she's an 8, 9, or 10, if you could do it once, you could do it 10 times. You legitimately can. Because if you're not that guy, let me tell you something.
They say once is lucky, 2 times is skill.
Say that one more time.
1 time is lucky, 2 times is skill.
So go out there and find out if you really got the skills.
Thank you.
Really go out there and find out if you got the skills. Because, and ladies, in my opinion, are the ones that get it the worst. A woman who is on a high horse, when she got to walk on that dirt road, you know why they call it a high horse, right? You know why?
Why do they call it?
Because back in the day, the roads were mud.
Yeah.
So when people saw your boot was always clean. That means you never had to walk in mud.
Yep.
So
Or get
that
it
means you were living
splashed.
clean. But when the girl walked in the mud, she was beneath everybody. So that's why they say get off your high horse and put some mud on your boot.
Oh, that's why they
Yeah.
say get in the mud.
So I got one.
What?
I got one, right? A sign that you're lowering your standards is when, this is usually for women, but a sign that you're lowering your standards is when you feel as if you need to completely show your body all the time. You always got to show skin. If you always got to show skin to get attention or get, you know, some type of appreciation from men or glorification from men, you have lowered your standards. That is a sign of you lowering your standards because you feel as if you can't do it with the most highest morality and or principality. So if that is the case, I think that, like, obviously, is it easier to get the attention of men when you have less clothes or get the glorification? Yeah, but that's not the one that you want. So
She got attention without with her clothes on.
yeah, can't she get attention without her clothes on?
That should be
I
an
mean,
at the table
she-
challenge. Can you get attention with your clothes on?
Can you get the same amount of likes with your clothes on that you do with your clothes off? That allows me to know.
Well, that wouldn't be a fair test because obviously the creepers of Instagram will flock to a half naked picture. So it won't work. We all know that the half naked picture
That is not true
going-
because I've seen some girls be naked and get 300 likes, right? So,
Do they have the following for more than that?
but what I'm saying is if you take a girl who's constantly, like, there's girls who don't have any picture showing any skin, it's especially like fashionistas, you know what I'm saying? They be out, their charts is out the roof, and then for me to compare them to, no offense, but an OnlyFans model.
But isn't that a different niche?
But the thing is, if they're getting the same amount of traction, that goes to show that you don't need to do B to get the results of A.
So are you saying that women who show their body, and we're not generalizing, you're saying that what else do you have to offer? What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, if that is your main source of, 50 Cent actually said this is really dope. 50 Cent said something along the lines of, if you have to, if your best asset is your attractiveness, you're gonna do some hoe shit.
Mm.
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Shout out to 50.
But sometimes that is your best
That
asset.
I was about to say
Audience.
that is
And guess what? And guess what you have to do?
It doesn't have the value that you think, though.
But that's not what you
We're
really
not talking
want
about
either.
value though. We're talking like maybe that's really your only asset.
if we're
But that's
talking
the- but
about
that is
attention,
low
attraction,
standards.
likes.
Okay.
Like, it's easy
agree.
for you to get all of that when you're half naked on Instagram most of the time. And e- whether it's the fashionista or the what do you call it, OnlyFans model, the half naked picture is always going to get the more likes. I feel like when you have the
Cap.
fashionista, they have more things going for themselves. They probably got brands from different companies. They gotta put that shit on. Like, that's what these Instagram pages are about. That OnlyFans model, she gotta do that shit. Like, she has to.
So
Well, she
you
chose
agree
to.
with it.
She chose to. I feel like I don't want to speak too much like
No, speak
on
too
like
much.
low standards when it comes to that, because that's their lane. Like,
But that's the lane you choose, right?
that
like,
is the lane they choose.
for example,
I'm not
It's a
saying
low
that.
standard lane.
exactly, with low frequencies
Low frequency.
and low vibrations and low vibration attracting. Like, you attract the low vibration people.
On the lowest vibration.
I mean, we've had people come on
Should we?
and
Right? We've had people come
and
on
they don't believe it's low standards. They don't believe it's low vibration.
and this is a no judgment zone.
It is a no judgment zone.
We've literally had a
It's a-
segment.
it's also
and this is a
Honesty at the table too.
Yeah, but
So-
I feel like, like sometimes women are like, I'm a very sexual person by nature. I believe in nudity. I don't believe in clothing. I think like we can't put a broad stroke and say that all women who, show their bodies have low standards. And
but let's go to another one, right?
I could-
I'm gonna tell you. Go ahead.
Because I could be like, well, if we like, the thing is, nobody's saying all, right?
Right.
But the reality is, we have a blatant prime example with Sukiana of her, how she talks, carry herself, and what she has represented, and the outcomes that she has had on numerous occasions with different men. You had low vibrational outcomes numerous times in different settings because that's what you're attracting. But that, again, that's not what you want. So if that's the case, that's when I believe that it becomes a sense of lowering your standard. Now, I think the more important question is, should you lower your standard for success, right?
That's a great question.
Like, because if we go in full circle, the woman that was waiting 8 hours for you to come home, or the guy who's waiting eight hours for the girl to come home, I said specifically for men, they usually give that girl the ring. So to some women, she's lowering her standards, but she gets success. For some women who are doing OnlyFans and they're naked, she's lowering her standards, but she's getting success in terms of financial, and maybe even like, her network could be growing as well. So I think that's a more important question if we're going to talk about, what we should consider, low standards or not.
So does the means justify the end for the person?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Well, hold on. Wait. I want to go back to this, right? Do you guys feel a man who uses his money to get women is lowering his standards?
Lowering her standard or
It's
his?
his.
Lowering his
Standard.
standards. Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
you're putting all your money first. You at the club, you buying the bottles, you paying bills.
If nothing else.
I mean, I'm not wrong with a man paying a woman's bills if that's your woman or if that's that agreement, but you putting that up front. You doing all these things first. And mind you, there's two types of men. There's men who really got that kind of bread and he's still doing it, which I still think is kind of like lowering your standards.
Yeah.
And then there's men who don't got that bread and still doing it.
Those are the worst. Weird.
Well, it's
So,
a difference.
Is a man spending money lowering his standards, Amanda?
It's a difference with men being a provider and men using his money as, his only sense of personality. Like, if you lead with like, oh yeah, I got this and I got that and I could pay for this for you and don't worry about it. I got this, I got you, blah, blah, blah. You're leading with your money. And I feel like to a lot of women, that's unattractive. And whoever is attracted to that,
for the wrong reason.
you're attracted to that person for the wrong reason, and you're going to end up with a woman that has low standards herself. That's one. Because they only in it for the money because you've promised them this, that, and the third. So you being okay with you getting into a relationship or you getting into any situation, like with money being the only thing you have to offer, that's low standard in itself. being a provider is different because if you get into a situation and you like as a man, you're like, okay, well, I'm very interested in this person, so I want to, take care of, the bill when we go on dates or, I'll give her money for rent like just because like I love her and you guys are like building a solid situation, that's different. But I feel like leading with money, like, and you're making money your whole personality, that's whack.
So Alan told me this earlier, and he said if there's 100% of people, and we're talking about the top 5%, the top 5% only understand the top 5%, right? And you take that same principle and you apply it to this conversation. Low standards will attract and understand low standards. High standards will attract and understand high standards. Because if you try to lead with your money as your number one asset of substance to a woman with high standards, you're going to be unsuccessful.
Absolutely.
And if a woman who is using her body to get the attention of a man who has higher standards, she will be unsuccessful. So I think that's important to understand when you're in this dating world about what you're putting out is actually what you're attracting. Because that's the only thing that it can attract. Like when you fish, there's certain bait that catch certain fish. It's the same thing when it comes to life and dating. You want to catch, bluefish, you put on a worm. You want to catch a shark, you're going to have to put on a chunk of meat, right? So like the bigger the fish, the more you realistically have to put out there. And that's the best way I could explain it.
Do you think that people who both lead with either money or their body, the reason they have low standards is for them that they have nothing else to offer? Maybe he leads with money because there's nothing else to offer.
I think it
That's
may.
probably their best
I-
thing to offer.
That's their only thing.
It's not their best thing to offer.
It's their only
That's
thing.
what we're trying to say. It's really not the best thing to offer because you have to realize money is probably one of the hardest things that is to make in this world, right? I would say about 100% or 99% of people seek money. So if you were able to make yourself a multi-millionaire, you either have to have some kind of intellectual skill, some kind of social skill. You have to have something that matters, right? That skill got you to what you have, but you don't use that skill when you're in the dating market. The skill that you're using in the dating market is the outcome of what you have, right? So let's say Hundo over here. Hundo works out, right? Let's say he works out and this girl's like, yo, I want to rock with you. I want to hang out with you. And he's like, why? And she's like, oh, because you're fit. I want to rock with you. And he's like, I'm fit because I'm disciplined. If you want to rock with me, you have to be a disciplined person. So the outcome is not what you put in up front. It's what the actual groundwork is what you put in up front. It's like if you have discipline, I could rock with you. So if a guy got a whole lot of money and he's like, look, I'm very social. That's how I got rich. And I read a lot. That's how I got rich. I did these things. That's how I got rich. If you're able to do those things, I could rock with you. But a lot of times people will be like, a woman could be like, I got this body, no surgery, never went to this, never went to that. I work out every day. I eat healthy every day. I do this every day. I know I post it on Instagram, but this is who I am. The guy might be like, damn, you wake up at 6 o'clock every morning. You run for an hour every morning. You do this every day. He's going to be more attracted to that. But in her mind, she's like, no, I got to put the G string while I'm holding my nipples and saying, this is it. So you're giving the outcome of something somebody might not even want. So you have to lower your standards from who you really are. Because in reality, you're a high energy person. But the way your high energy is, you don't want to, you don't think people's going to accept your high standards and your high energy. So in order to fit in, you lower your standards as low as you can so people could connect with you.
But the thing
Well,
about that is people are only going to perceive you for what you put out there. So if you do have high standards somewhere in there, we're not gonna know. Like no one's gonna know. If all we see is the nipples and the half naked
G-string.
pictures on Instagram, that's a swipe left. I don't know how the thing goes. Swipe right, swipe left, whatever the
It's
fuck.
actually swipe up now. Just
Swipe up next. Like no one is going to, not no one, but the person who is going to be interested in that version of you is probably not going to be interested in all of the high standards that you do have.
Yeah. And I also want to disagree with Alan. I believe that majority of the men with money or people with money are scam artists and con artists. That's how they got successful. I mean, if you really think about it, in the world where they are meant, in the world, not just America, where people are meant to be part of the 95%, in order to get to that 5%, you got to shake some things that you didn't really want to do. You know what I'm saying? And some people learn how to operate in the gray area very well. So the problem is those men don't create any substance. Very rare are people, well, I'm excluding the people born into money as well. But very rare do you see somebody who made it and kept it, right? Reading, doing the groundwork of building their own personal substance. A lot of times it was, you were an athlete, you gave an idea to somebody, you met somebody and put them two together, which don't really require a lot of actual substance and self-work.
But are you talking about like we're not talking about the people who are athletes and entertainers, but self-made millionaires in terms of constantly reading and growing and learning? You don't believe they do that?
No, I'm saying that there are people, I think if out of the 5% margin that actually have money, I would say 0.5% of that are those people. So when you look at it, if a dude is leading with his money, it's because he made his money the wrong way. He never made his money of substance or with his substance and with his value. He made his money doing something that he either shouldn't have been doing or he just got a layup. So he never acquired substance and did the groundwork on himself. That's why he can't come up and represent himself on these dates. He doesn't know who he is. He has never did and never was put in that position to do that work. So when he goes out and now he's getting the girl who's just basically willing to do whatever he says, or, showcase her body just so she could be in the same room as somebody with money, you have, again, two people with no substance that are clicking up together having no outcomes or no longevity, I should say.
So extra. Be so much.
No, because you know what?
I'm glad my peripheral stopped working.
No, because when you think about it, I think that in a sense, we're trained so much when it comes to relationships. Like, for example, here's a common one, right? A woman would be like, I got high standards. And you'll be like, well, why do you have high standards? She's like, well, because I make $210,000 a year. I work for IBM. I'm senior vice president. I go to every this, I do that. And then the dude is like, do you do any self-care?
No.
Do you read? Have you read any kind of good books lately? Do you work out? Do
So
you
it's
do
all
this?
superficial things.
And then
Yep.
she's like,
I was about to
no.
say, did you watch this TikTok video? Because I saw a TikTok video this morning that was
Probably should've.
just like that.
Right? So the thing is like, what I agree with what Rico is saying is like, a man with high standards who's making $20,000 a year. It's like, you are not as important as you think you are to me. Right? It's like, yo, you don't do things that I'm interested in. I'm a trainer. I don't make that much money. You know what I'm saying? I'm still helping out my family. I'm trying to build my business. You're not somebody that I'm interested in. That's a person with what you would say conscious standard or high standard, right? Now let's reverse this. Now she's in the club. Dang. Then you got Ray Ray over here. Oh, you make 210 a month. And he's gonna tell her whatever she want to hear. He's a scumbag just like she is.
Exactly. That's why they're in the same spot.
He's as much of a scumbag as she
But
is.
don't you think the reason that she falls prey to the Ray Rays is because her standards are based on superficial things? They're not really
in a
based
sense
on
it is
anything
because,
concrete.
and I'm not trying to bring spirituality in this. She don't read the Bible. She don't read Plato. She don't read
Anything.
Origins of
You
Africa.
don't have to read
No, I'm
Plato.
just saying that she doesn't read Origins in Africa. She doesn't know nothing about who she is. She has no real
Now
substance.
somebody's in there like, I don't.
No. But what I'm saying is like I see where Rico's going with
That's
this
important.
because she doesn't really have substance meet with substance.
I
So
agree
if
right
you
there.
have a low standard, Damn, that's kind of fucked up.
Because you gotta think. I remember when I was
Be a better person.
do the work. And that's what I've been preaching is like do the work. I like stop with the fast success, stop with the microwave, just do the work and it'll happen fast. When I was a junior in college, right before I actually got kicked out, ironic, I got asked a question and I was a biology major on pace to graduate, right? And they asked me, well, someone asked me, have you read any books? Like what was the book? And I couldn't even first of all, I didn't even read the biology book that I was supposed to read. So I'm like, damn, I'm about to be a undergrad bio major, which is in the top, let's say 10% toughest majors to acquire. And I never even read a book. Right? So when
Ever?
I've never read a book. I've never completed a book. I might have read like, a chapter or two. Yeah, huh? Yeah, during that time. Right? So the thing is, it's like just because you have accolades, just because you have something tangible, a degree, or you have a $200,000 salary, doesn't mean you have substance. It just means you were able to do what they told you to do, right? So like when you actually pick up a book and you actually read and you find what you like and you find what's going to help develop you and shape you and build you, that's when you start actually getting substance. That's when you can actually align with other people and have different types of conversations and realistically attract what you really want. Like, because nobody wants the low standard person.
There's a sadness. I'm gonna leave this at that. But I think there's a sadness to people with high expectations, overachievers. I'm talking about successful people who don't get what they want over time.
What do you mean?
Like I've seen people who feel so entitled. They feel like I got high standards, I got this, I got that, I got this. And they've gotten older and they're probably in their 40s. And let's just say they've been rocking out since they were in their 20s, 30s, they had high. And it just doesn't happen for them. I think there's a sadness to it because it's almost like you want to tell it, just be normal.
Or bitter.
Or sometimes there are things that people just aren't willing to compromise on. And if you are consciously aware, you got to be aware that you may not get it and be okay with what that looks like. And I've read a few people who are like, I'm okay if I don't get it. Like, I like my life will go on, but I'm not willing to compromise on certain things. And I'm not talking about superficial things, but there are things that they're just not. And some might say, oh, your standards are too high, and they're just like, "No, it's not that my standards are too high in terms of quality of life. If I compromise on that, I will regret it for the rest of my life. So I'd rather not compromise on that."
Would you compromise on the void? I mean, would you regret the void that you've
No,
created?
they're like they'll be like, "I'll be fine."
The craziest thing is that all I'm hearing is that there's something that they're willing to live without.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's not that they don't possess a desire for it. What's her name? Passport Cuddy.
That's what compromise is.
Yeah, but like the thing is like that's just pride. That's all it
But I
is
think
pride. That's all it is just pride. Like you just saying, I don't want a man. I'm just gonna make a.
don't please make something super like
I'm gonna say I don't want a man who is not a gentleman, right? I refuse to compromise to date a man that is not a gentleman. But then again, if there are zero gentlemen out there, or the gentlemen that are out there are already married, you're saying you would rather be single for the rest of your life, but you want marriage, right? But you rather be single because you're not getting a specific type of man, which means that it's just a pride thing. Like
But
once you get there, everybody thinks they know, everybody thinks they want something until they got to deal with the repercussion of it.
And most people, when they
repercussion
get
of a
it,
gentleman?
No, repercussion of like
not getting what you want.
not getting, like if you want marriage, right? We're just saying that in this example, somebody wants the marriage, right?
Right.
If you want marriage or you want a relationship with or without the contract, and you decide that you are going to opt out because of the requirements or opt out because of the quality that is available, and you're going to live without it, that's the part that I'm talking about.
I feel like when we're talking about something like your gentleman example, that's a valid ask. Like that's a valid, like, all right, yeah, I'm not taking no for an answer with that. Because when you don't get someone that's a gentleman, when that's something that you deeply require, you're gonna get a guy who isn't a gentleman. You're not gonna like how they treat you. And how are you gonna live with being in a relationship when you don't like how you're being treated?
You don't like your
You know
person.
what the craziest thing is? Like this all goes back to what I asked you before. Who told you you wanted a gentleman? And matter of fact, who told you you need a gentleman? Right? So now
Um, should I want a bad boy?
No, but I've seen some
Should I
couples.
want someone that's gonna
He doesn't
treat
have-
me like
Amanda,
shit?
there's people in the middle.
I've seen some
Like-
couples who've been together for like 40, 50 years, and I've seen them on TV and in real life. All they do is talk shit to each other. He's not a gentleman. She's not a nice girl. Oh, shut your fuss. But they argue and they got this little bickering thing that they
But
got going on.
They suit, and maybe
They
she
love
was
each other. They connect
Yeah.
with each
That's a
other.
bad
They bond with each
example,
other.
Alan. See, that's a bad example because maybe they suit and that works. What I'm saying is there are people, and we all have things that there are. Each one of us in this room have something that we aren't willing to settle on, or you're not going to budge. Yes, you have things that you're like, I'll compromise on that. I'll move on that. But there are certain things, right? And
I have to
it's not.
argue.
It's not.
I got to
so
argue.
You're willing to settle on
Okay,
everything.
So I gotta say this, and let's go with this. Because this is 8 at the table, right? So let's
Yes,
go
it
for
is.
real on some for real life shit, right?
Hold on. Rico and Amanda want to take their shot.
All right. After the
I
shot, we're
saved
gonna-
it. I
Clank,
saved
clank,
this
clank.
for this shot.
Wow. What are we cheersing to, Amanda?
The good life.
Gemini season is over.
Thank God. Let's cheers to that. Cheers to the end of Gemini season. And happy belated.
Happy
you,
belated.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday, Amanda.
Thank you.
That makes me feel like I'm getting roofied again.
Ah.
So here's what I'm saying. All right, look. I used this example before a while back, right?
I'm sweating.
In this
Boy.
example, my dad told me this story a long time ago. He was like, "You are what you are, and you could lie to nobody else but yourself." He said there was a priest. He was a handsome priest. He ran a whole congregation. His wife left him because she said his penis was too small and it barely got hard.
Damn. Double
So he
whammy.
went around to the whole congregation saying it wasn't true. He's like, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. He got another woman, beautiful girl. Guess what she did?
Said the same thing.
She left him. She says penis is too small and it barely gets hard. Meaning that this is very cut dry what I'm saying in a sense, right? What is really his options if he's dealing with a sexual being? If he has an asexual woman, that's different. He's dealing with a sexual being. If you're a woman who don't have manners yourself,
You can't
you have
require
no manners, you have no etiquettes, you don't even know how to hold a proper napkin, and you want a gentleman.
That's wild.
That's a problem.
But that's not what we're.
No, that is what we're
Yeah.
saying. What we're trying to say is that
We didn't get into the variables.
no, but what I'm trying to say is that in a sense, when you try to look at it for really what it is, right? You really get what you qualify for. But the truth is you qualify for anything you want if you're willing to work for it.
And you're not.
Right? So, like Rico said, you gotta work for it. So a lot of times I'm gonna say, let's take it back to I don't want to go there, but I'm gonna go there. Let's take it back to the streets. They say you got $30. You need to do groceries. You ain't gonna go to Whole Foods.
You gonna go to
You gonna go to
ShopRite.
Aldi.
C-Town.
Are they cheap?
Aldi's pretty good.
Aldi is terrible.
I hate all these.
Yeah, absolutely.
the worst grocery
Aldi's
store
is
I've ever stepped
not
foot in.
terrible.
Aldi's is
You gotta bring your
terrible.
own bags. They originated that.
Well, I don't know.
They
but
definitely
Because if we
did.
being for real,
like 15
the
years
dollar
ago.
store got groceries.
There's
so
nothing
it depends
wrong
on
with
what you want.
Aldi's.
Whatever. Aldi didn't
Right?
cut us a
What you
check.
trying
They
to
don't need
get?
my
So
support.
what
I'll tell you where to go because Dollar Tree, Dollar General got eggs. What you trying to get?
So what I'm trying to say is like
That ain't a dollar.
Is like sometimes
It ain't a dollar.
there's nothing wrong with lowering your standards to get what you want. I gotta agree with that.
Yeah, and that's not what I'm saying. What
You might have.
what I am saying is, while there are things that you are willing to settle, lower your standards, right? I think everyone has those things that are unmovable, unbudgeable, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you sit there and you compromise everything, then you just have low standards.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
However,
Marie,
But you gotta
there's
ask, why are you compromising these things? Like if
yeah.
if I was a guy and I was single and I was walking on Park Ave one day and fucking Betty comes outside, who's around my age, maybe a couple years, and she's a fucking billionaire and she wants to marry me. She's going crazy for me. And then I go to dinner with her all the time, and people be like, "Damn, he talks to her any kind of fucking way. He does anything he wants with her. She's lowering her standards." I'm like, I'm dealing with a broken bitch. Y'all think that she's
bro, chill,
Not Betty.
chill. Like,
That's a triple B. Betty the baddie
Like-
broke, or quadruple B. Betty the bad broke
you are.
Fucking-
Alan's been giving pimp vibes
bish.
all
Right.
night.
Like, what the hell did Betty do?
But no, but realistically, if we think about it in all actuality, here's my issue with people who are not willing to budge on their high standards and lower their standards is that it's not providing any results for you. Not not in comparison to what you really want. So if I really want a Lamborghini, right? And I said, but you know what? I don't care. I am never going to struggle like an entrepreneur. I'm going to work this job and make $75,000 a year. You're not going to get the Lamborghini. So you and then you say, all right, cool. I'm okay with never getting the Lamborghini, right? But then this is where things really get rocky. When you start watching other people get this Lamborghini.
Then you weren't okay with it.
But nobody is okay with what they're sacrificing is what I'm saying. They only sacrificing it for their comfort. They want to be comfortable, stuck in their own ways. And then once they're actually seeing other people achieve the things that they know that they can achieve is when it actually flips the switch and says, well, damn, I should have did the work and I should have worked on myself so I can also acquire what they were able to obtain.
But I don't think it's always like that linear, right?
It definitely is.
No, it's not
It
because
definitely
she compromises, right? I'll use your example. She wants a gentleman. This is your example, right? And she's like, but I want to get married, and so I'm gonna compromise and not really get the gentleman. So I settle for person A. I enter into this marriage. It's a loveless marriage. I'm not happy. It's not fulfilling. And so you have to ask, was it worth it just to have been married? Just because I wanted to be married doesn't mean that I need to settle. So what I did is I compromised. I married someone and it left me an unfulfilled marriage.
No.
I put the work in.
Untrue,
We went to
untrue,
couples
Marie,
therapy.
untrue.
But-
Because before you got to the step of marriage, you already knew you were lowering your standards.
That's what I said. So I lowered my standard because what I
because she was willing
wanted,
to compromise.
I'm willing to compromise, and I have to have a man in order to get married or whatever.
We're
So
not
I
talking
lowered
about
that.
marriage.
But I
You're missing
didn't-
the whole point. We're not talking about marriage.
I'm
We're
But
talking
she's
about,
just used.
I'm using
no,
Rico's
we're talking
example.
about a healthy life.
Dude,
We're
and that's
talking
what
about the
we're talking about the same
self-work.
thing.
We're not.
No, we are, because what I'm saying is it's the same thing that you're saying. You can't, there are things that you should be willing to be open-minded and settle and lower your standards on and compromise. On the other end of the spectrum, for your quality of life and the life you want to live, there are things that you should not.
But Marie,
It can't be a broad stroke that I'll settle on everything.
but that's what but that's what we said though. But this is what we said.
Crazy. So I'll just say I'll settle on anything.
No,
Bro.
but what I'm saying is
This
this.
is the whole point.
This is what I'm saying.
I don't
You
think
just
it is.
said
I don't.
you just said jump out the window and say F everything. I didn't say that. What I was saying is, guess what? Lower your standards and don't get a gentleman. I never said don't get a loveless marriage. A person could be loving, endearing without being a gentleman. They are not synonymous. So,
Right.
so what I'm saying is the Lamborghini was in comparison to the quality of life. The loving part is the same exact, apples to apple in that aspect. So you have to do the work for it. I'm not saying that, listen, guess what? Just because you don't get a gentleman, just because you settle for somebody who's not a gentleman, your marriage is going to be unsuccessful.
What I'm telling you is that
No,
could
but
be
Marie.
the case. Alan, all I'm saying is that this is
You're
crazy.
not seeing it. Okay.
There are things that people
All right,
shouldn't
Marie,
settle
Marie,
on.
just listen to what I'm saying, and I'm gonna tell you what this whole fucking dating market is messed up. I could curse now because we probably over an hour. Let me tell you where the whole thing is messed up, right? So I come from a foreign country, and I'm in my 30s. I get to America. I work my ass off. I ain't got time to be no fucking gentleman. I'm a good man. I don't cheat. I will work and I will love you. I will take care of you. I'll do everything. I meet you. You say, what do you want to do? I said, go to my house so we could cook. I'm not trying to have sex with you. I'm not forcing. I'm all good. I'm getting to know you. I take you out. You're like, you want to go to a restaurant? I don't want to go to a restaurant. I want to do this. I just want to work hard. I want to save up for about 4 years, 5 years. I want us to buy a house. And I want, to start a family and do everything. Like, I'm about that real life. Like, I'm about my family. I'm about my woman. And then when we have children, I'm about my children. Or I'm beneath you.
That's you, Chris.
Right? I'm beneath you because I don't have the gentleman factor or the fucking Roof Chris dinners that you're looking for.
Wow, you guys are like, I'm sorry. You guys are so superficial that you don't understand what I'm saying. It's like insane. Okay.
I understand.
Just move on because it's like, I feel like we're talking in circles.
Well,
'Cause
what we're
you
saying
just
is
gave
that
a whole, like, that's not what I'm saying.
All I'm
Enrico,
saying,
that's not what
all
I'm saying.
saying
Like,
is
there's
like
not somebody
we're living in a
between,
time
you know what I mean?
where everybody want dating. I don't know the proper word for this. Everybody want dating to come in one frame.
yeah,
They want dating to look all the same.
from A to Z.
You know who's a beautiful dating couple right now, and people will scream and call it couples goal, would be ASAP Rocky and Rihanna. They're like, this is what dating should look like.
But he was just
This
cheating
is
on
what
her.
Relationship should look like.
Allegedly.
Oh, it's not yo, come on, these are celebrities.
Allegedly. He watches the show.
Wait, I was about to say
Shout out to him. But
Allegedly.
but that's a beautiful. First of all, if you can get through that, I actually give your relationship is stronger than one that can't.
But what I'm trying to say is this: I know good women that men will line up for, but something about what people don't understand, and I'm gonna say this, right? Something people don't know about single women, good single women, no matter just because they're single,
Tell us, Alan.
don't get it fucked up. They have options.
Speaking for the woman.
Yeah. Tell
Speaking
us.
for the single
I'm
woman.
just
Tell
saying,
us.
I
Tell
know
us,
single
Alan.
Women who have a lot of options, they choose not to exercise those options.
All the time.
It's a choice for women. There's a lot of beautiful single women that just choose not to exercise those options. And I'm not gonna call that they don't want to lower their standards or they have high standards. It's just that some people are happy with themselves and they're looking for something to complement that. And that could be the same thing for dudes. There's dudes, they're in their 20s and 30s or 40s, and they're like, yo, I'm kind of chilling.
I was never really chilling. I was with the.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I don't think guys. I don't think
You feel like I'm gaslighting?
Like, you doing something.
that was it.
First he was being what? A pimp?
Well, that's why. He's gaslighting because he's a pimp.
Wow, they are synonymous.
Aries was number one.
Nah, but I do think that when it comes down to it, it's like lowering your standards. As long like if you lower your standards and the means are justifying the end, that makes sense to me. But sacrificing it has been a thing that we have now tried to put and say that if you sacrifice anything, right, then you have lowered your standards. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily true because all good things require sacrifice, right? And some things, and now I'm not getting to a spiritual thing, but in my personal opinion, the best things require you to sacrifice the thing that you never said you would. That's typically how I've really lived my life. And every time I sacrificed something that said that I wouldn't, that's when I got the best thing, the best outcome. So, and I think that we sit here and we try to make it seem as if like, if you give one, it's too many. If you give two, you're crazy. And if you give 3 sacrifices, you don't value yourself.
But crazy people are probably the happiest and most successful people in the world. Well, let's do one last one before we go.
You have it or you want me to tell you?
No, I got it. Well, you can give yours, but this is mine. I'm just trying to look at the aesthetics of the red thing that you're moving over there. I'm just trying to.
You're messing up my shot. And I'm not sacrificing that.
The question is this, Amanda.
Alan.
A woman paying on the first date, is that lowering her standards?
You better say no, Amanda, because you have.
You I'm not really too sure about this one. I'm not, because I feel like, why do we keep circling back to this first date situation? Like, for real, for real. Okay, I just feel like we've said it 1,000 times. Whoever initiated the date should pay. If the girl initiated the date, she gonna pay. But a real nigga, he gonna pay anyway, even if she did initiate the date. I think. Let me take 2 seconds.
We're gonna close out after this.
Hurry up. You're trying to wait for it to
We
die.
gotta close out. Is she lowering her standards?
I
Keep a G.
think. No, and it's not that I'm not trying to. I just feel like very conflicted about it. Okay, no. I don't think she's lowering her
All
standards.
right, guys, we gotta go. The battery's dying.
And don't hate me.
You don't have to tell people.
Why? That's our audience. Big shout out. No, YouTube. This is a YouTube family over here.
I know.
This is a shout out to the YouTube
And, like,
Eight at
we
the
came
Table
to be
family.
entertained. Are you not entertained? That's
No,
great.
but this is the
Are you not
YouTube family.
entertained?
Yeah.
These are real supporters.
What a brute.
Look, there's no way in the world without YouTube, without all the social media platform that support us, but especially YouTube for watching the whole long form content, that we would be here today 5 years later.
Yeah.
Facts.
So YouTube, don't ever think somebody be like, y'all on YouTube. Even back, we all on. No, we're on YouTube. Yeah,
I love
YouTube
YouTube.
is our family.
Who doesn't love YouTube?
I put YouTube on my big screen.
You want me
I
to-
watch
You gotta be
YouTube
able-
on the big
I'll-
screen all the
Who
time.
don't like YouTube?
That's what I'm saying. And
You heard me?
what?
There's always one in the room.
All right,
I like YouTube if they start super chatting us more. I promise you.
but we love YouTube, man. We on YouTube. We're in the building. And YouTube is very funny ass family, yo. They watch everything. Now, you know the funny thing about YouTube now? In the comments, they used to make comments like just whatever. Now every YouTube comment is by name.
They're legit supporters.
Like they're by
Like-
name. Oh, I don't like what Rico said.
Oh,
Amanda,
yeah.
you need to. Aaron, you need
Oh.
to. Amanda, you need to. Rico. Like there's no more. It's rarely you'll see the comments are by name now.
Like today, somebody says Rico's saying some off the wall stuff. With this
Slaps
emoji.
head
Uh,
emoji.
Must
We
be a
gotta
woman.
go.
So, dude,
Lonnie, what we
Really?
got? 4 seconds?
He's a woman.
Okay,
No,
thank
Lonnie is
you
not
guys.
into it today because Lonnie was making comments in the earlier one, guys, and Lonnie is basically not making no comments today.
Lonnie's whirlwind situation with
What happened? Why is Lonnie bugging out today? Like Lonnie's just like, she's like,
all right.
She's like,
because you
"What
know
more
Lonnie
can I
is quick to
say?"
put her like, yo, what the fuck?
Okay, let's do our
Lonnie's
close out.
not- she's not in-
Yo, listen,
How
guys.
much
So
time do we have?
let's do this. Let's do this, right? From now to next Thursday, anybody who subscribes to our YouTube members program, I will personally follow you, and we can actually have a personal conversation, and we can go from there. If you do not subscribe to our YouTube membership, you will not be included. So if you go ahead and subscribe, you can go ahead and then we'll capture your Instagram and or TikTok or means for communication, and we can have a one-on-one conversation.
That's fine. That's dope.
That's something I'm willing
Big
to do.
shout out to YouTube membership, guys. Come on, let's get the YouTube membership up. We got a bunch of content that's unreleased on there, so you guys could definitely check that out. But we gotta go. I don't have a camera for Lonnie, but guys, tell me if I should put the camera on Lonnie. I'm gonna put the camera on Lonnie.
Swing that.
Lonnie, don't be that person.
Oh my
Lonnie's
God.
like, what the hell?
Lonnie's-
Yeah, so everybody, we appreciate you.
Guys, look.
Lonnie, say goodbye. Lonnie, say bye for everybody.
Where did she go?
You need a real.
She's hiding now.
Lonnie, close out.
Put it on there, Lonnie.
Lonnie, close out.
Put it on there, Lonnie. Lonnie, don't hide from the people. All right, we gotta go.
All right, guys, we'll see you later.
Super consensus. It was dope. It was
All right.
tonight. Yeah, tonight. And
Yeah.
they said the dudes tonight, and they're like.